Ellingen diagrams. Here the different varieties of metal related chemical transformations and the corresponding possibilities in the form of delta G and temperature are plotted in a graph is said to be the Ellingen diagrams. The general information related to the Ellingen diagrams of the metal oxide formation here writing, from that we will take the help of metal formation from the metal oxide. See, these are all delta G is present on the x-axis and the corresponding temperature in degree centigrade on the x-axis and the delta G on the y-axis. Here delta G positive values are there above the 0 and that delta G is increasing, whereas it starts from some minus 1200, 1000, minus 800, 600, 400, 200, 0 followed by plus 200, 400, etc. And temperature is increasing on the x-axis like 500 degree, 1000 degree, 1200, 1400, 1600, etc. Whereas here there is a 0 delta G value, that is a straight line is written over there, that is taken as reference. Below this particular delta G, suppose let us see the first one, mercury oxide is there. Mercury oxide below this particular 0 particular related temperatures below, here what happens is its formation is spontaneous, because this intersection temperatures below, it is having delta G as negative value, maybe here minus 50, minus 100, minus 200, etc. Under these particular temperature conditions, mercury and the oxygen combines. As a result, it leads to the formation of mercuric oxide. Whereas if I exceed the temperature which is greater than here appearing of delta G is 0, that is positive, then its decomposition starts. In no way formation occurs. If any HGO is there, that undergoes decomposition and forms the corresponding metal followed by the oxygen. The same thing is valid for the every particular variety of metal oxide. Suppose if I go for the calcium, see, calcium is maintaining this much of length is straight line. Here in this case, every particular temperature up to 1600 degrees centigrade and above also it is maintaining minus delta G. Implies what? This is strong metal, this is more electropositive metal. Under maximum varieties of possible temperatures, under high temperature conditions also, metal combines with oxygen and that leads to the formation of metal oxides. Whereas here medium electropositive metals sustain to higher temperature formation, less electropositive metals like silver and mercury formation, mercury oxides formation is possible under low temperature only. Whereas with increasing of temperature, the corresponding less electropositive metal oxides becomes unstable and they can decompose to the corresponding metal followed by the oxygen. The same thing is valid in general, they will maintain a straight line, whereas at particular temperatures the metal, otherwise the formed metal oxide may change the physical state. Generally what we are expecting is metals are solids, metal oxides are solids. With increasing of temperature, as starting materials, metal can be present in liquid physical state, or volatile metals like zinc can be present in solid gaseous physical state. Similarly, the formed metal oxide may also change its physical state. Due to that difference in physical state, delta G value changes, hence you will find a turning point there, and from there onwards we will find a difference in the slopes also. Now let us have a generalization related to the metal oxides formation and the corresponding delta G's, followed by the another Ellingen diagram. Here carbon related compounds are used as best reducing agents. Carbon can be used as reducing agent, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide can be used as reducing agent, whereas carbon as reducing agent can be formed to carbon monoxide, can be formed to carbon dioxide. What are the conditions? Under which conditions which is the most suitable? This can be also explained from the Ellingen diagrams. Here I am taking 0 as a reference. Let us see. Here carbon acting as reducing agent and forming the carbon monoxide. With increasing of temperature, its corresponding delta G goes on increasing. Delta G becomes more negative, more negative, more negative. So that is best reducing agent. Whereas if you look at the carbon monoxide, see, carbon monoxide taking oxygen and it is converted to carbon dioxide. Whereas here these two particular lines, that is carbon to carbon monoxide formation, similarly carbon to carbon dioxide formation and the carbon monoxide to carbon dioxide formation intersect at a particular temperature, that is 710 degrees centigrade. So here what happens is 710 degrees centigrade is the deciding one, because that is also abnormally somewhat high temperature. Yes, below that temperature, what is the best reducing agent? above that temperature what is the best reducing agent can be known from the Ellingham diagrams. Here in this case of the carbon oxides, below 710 degrees centigrade, the highest minus delta G is associated with the carbon monoxide. See, carbon monoxide combination with oxygen is forming carbon dioxide, corresponding minus delta G. See here minus 500, 550, 600, like that values are there. Whereas if carbon is acting as reducing agent, it is having maximum here minus 200, here 300, minus 400, etc. Highest minus delta G is present for the carbon monoxide. Hence, below 730 degrees centigrade, 710 degrees centigrade, carbon monoxide is acting as best reducing agent. Whereas if I go for the above values, see the above value, if I increase the temperature, above implies like this side, here carbon monoxide is associated with carbon monoxide formation is associated with highest minus delta G. Hence above 710 degrees centigrade, carbon is acting as best reducing agent, whereas below 710 degrees centigrade, carbon monoxide is starting material. Hence carbon monoxide is acting as best reducing agent. Above here carbon is acting as best reducing agent. General conclusions. In general, all are straight lines. In general, all the metal oxide formations corresponding delta G versus temperatures are straight lines. But whenever the increasing of temperatures, may melting points or boiling points can appear in the mid, whereas the product formed can be present in solid to liquid in physical state or liquid to gases in physical state. Under that conditions, there is a variation in the delta G, and that depends on the heat capacities. As a result, the straight line can varies with the dots, and in general it maintains the straight line conditions. Whereas in general all the slopes are positive, that is increases with increasing of the temperature, because delta G value also increases. Suppose if you take any of the metal oxide formation, see suppose here I am taking the metal oxide formation of calcium. This calcium slope is goes on increasing with increasing of temperature, because with increasing of temperature here the delta G value is also goes on increasing, because here the heat capacities are generally increasing for the substances. As a result, what happens is the amount of heat energy liberated in the process will decreases. Thus here the delta G values are goes on increasing. As a result, here the slope is always appears to be positive. And the next point is, at a particular temperature for any of the metal oxide formation, it reaches to zero of delta G. The meaning is below that temperature its formation is spontaneous, and above the temperature its formation is non-spontaneous. Implies what? Whatever the metal oxide is formed, that undergoes decomposition and gives the resultant metal and the oxygen. If we look at the straight lines, all are generally maintaining straight lines. Just to look at the straight lines only. Whereas let us see here nickel oxide is there, below the nickel oxide the ferrous oxide is there, titanium oxide is there, in the mid chromium oxide is there, and here we are having aluminium oxide, etc. And below that aluminium, magnesium as well as the calcium oxides. If I take a straight line, suppose at a particular temperature of 1000 degrees, all are present in the same order. So whichever the metal oxide formation line is there, whereas the line which is present in the Ellingham diagrams, it is acting as best reducing agent for all the lines which are present above it. Suppose in case of aluminium is associated with highest delta G at any particular temperature compared to the above lines like chromium as well as the ferrous. So aluminium, as being it is maintaining highest delta G, its formation is associated with highest value of minus delta G. Implies what? It is spontaneous in process. It makes the other impossible non-spontaneous things as spontaneous. Thus aluminium can reduce the chromium oxide. That's what in aluminothermate process what happens is, on reaction with chromium trioxide, aluminium powder reacts with chromium trioxide and it is converted to chromium. It is reduced and aluminium undergoes oxidation. Because oxidation of aluminium, formation of aluminium oxide is associated with highest delta G, even that can be greater compared to the chromium oxide formation. Hence chromium reaction which is of non-spontaneous can happen over here. Similarly, aluminium can reduce as the ferrous oxide also. But aluminium can't acting as a reducing agent. Aluminium can't reduces the below lines related metals like magnesium as well as the calcium. Thus, the line which is present below is a spontaneous reaction. Even in combination of this particular metal oxide formation can happen even if it is associated with the other metal oxides, where the metal oxides of the top lines undergoes reduction, and this particular reference line is acting as best reducing agent for all the other metal oxides which are present above in the Ellingham diagrams. But it can't reduces the metal oxides which are present below in the Ellingham diagrams. Thus, we can write the situation in such a way that chromium trioxide on reaction with aluminium forms alumina followed by chromium, a spontaneous reaction. Similarly, ferrous oxide on reaction with aluminium forms ferrous followed by alumina, it is also a spontaneous reaction, but not the reverse. See, there is an intersection point almost at 1500 degrees centigrade in between magnesium as well as the aluminium line. So therefore, whatever the magnesium bottom line is there, that is bottom is going to be continued up to 1500 degrees centigrade, and above 1500 degrees centigrade that is becoming the top line and aluminium line is becoming the bottom line. So bottom line is spontaneous, aluminium converts into aluminium oxide, can also associated with reduction of magnesium oxide to magnesium. That is, above this temperature aluminium can reduce as magnesium oxide, but below this temperature that is not possible. Reverse is possible. What is that reverse? Aluminium oxide on reaction with magnesium is converted to aluminium followed by magnesium oxide. We will write that one. This is above 1500 degrees centigrade, whereas below 1500 degrees centigrade is magnesium on reaction with alumina is converted to magnesium oxide followed by aluminium. The reduction behavior of the carbon and carbon compounds when they are acting as reducing agents in metallurgical operations, then what happens is, suppose if I take carbon can be converted to carbon monoxide can be converted to carbon dioxide, even carbon can be converted to carbon dioxide. So carbon acting as reducing agent are two situations. One is carbon to carbon monoxide, second one is carbon to carbon dioxide. If I write the balanced equations, carbon plus oxygen gives carbon monoxide, that is 2 carbons plus 1 oxygen is giving 2 carbon monoxides. Similarly, carbon plus oxygen is giving carbon dioxide, itself is a balanced equation. Similarly, in case of carbon monoxide to carbon, balanced equation is 2 carbon monoxides plus oxygen is giving 2 carbon dioxides. In these of all the cases, if you look at here delta N values, that is entropy changes. Carbon is solid material. Here 2 molecules are formed from 1 molecule, delta N is positive. 1 oxygen is consumed gases, and the 1 oxygen of gases carbon dioxide formation occurs, hence delta G is 0. Whereas in case of carbon dioxide formation from the carbon monoxide, here 2 are the gaseous molecules, 2 plus 1 3, whereas from 3 2 are formed implies here 2 minus, here carbon monoxide plus oxygen is converted to 2 molecules of carbon dioxide, here delta N is negative, Here from these entropy informations or corresponding delta N informations, one thing is clear. In case of carbon dioxide, entropy is not the deciding factor, only enthalpy is the deciding factor. Enthalpy depends on the temperature to a small extent only. Hence, in case of carbon to carbon dioxide formation, almost all a straight line without much slope, almost all a straight line related curve is generally obtained. Whereas, in case of the first, that is carbon is acting as reducing agent to form the carbon monoxide, delta N is positive, entropy is favoring. Moreover, that is also partial combustion is also combustion, enthalpy is also favoring related to the formation. Delta G will becomes more negative with increasing of temperature. Hence, the delta G values of carbon monoxide formation are always more negative with increasing of temperature. Whereas in case of this particular carbon dioxide formation from carbon monoxide, if you look at Here delta N is negative, entropy disfavors, whereas competition is there in between them. And after certain high temperature, that is undergoing decomposition to corresponding backward reaction of carbon as well as carbon monoxide as well as the oxygen. Hence the curve related to the carbon dioxide formation from carbon monoxide, here delta G value minus delta G value is goes on, otherwise delta G value is goes on increasing, or minus delta G value is goes on decreasing, and after certain temperature it can cross to the zero, and then after it becomes unstable and the backward reaction may be favored. These lines related to the carbon reduction will intersect at a temperature that is 710 degrees centigrade, and below this 710 degrees centigrade and this particular portion, highest delta G is associated with the carbon combination with oxygen in the formation of carbon dioxide. Hence carbon monoxide, you see carbon monoxide plus oxygen is forming carbon dioxide is having highest delta G. So therefore carbon monoxide is acting as dust reducing agent. And above this 710 degrees centigrade and this particular portion, highest delta G is present for carbon plus oxygen to form the carbon monoxide. Hence carbon is acting as dust reducing agent above 710 degrees centigrade. Below 710 degrees centigrade, carbon monoxide is acting as dust reducing agent. The thermodynamic information of the reduction of the zinc oxide to zinc by different carbon related compounds from this diagram is, here the zinc undergoes any of the physical transformation, like zinc may be having melting point, zinc may be having boiling point. Due to that one, here the turning points are occurred in the curvatures occurred in the graph, whereas from this temperature onwards, here from here onwards zinc undergoes reduction, that is zinc oxide can be converted to zinc, whereas the reducing agent is just carbon. Whereas if I extend the temperature from here to here at this particular temperature onwards, it can be reduced by carbon, it can be reduced by carbon to carbon monoxide formation, similarly carbon to carbon dioxide formation followed by zinc oxide reduction can be possible. If I still increase the temperature up to here and onwards, here carbon monoxide may be acting as reducing agent and carbon may be acting as reducing agent either by forming carbon monoxide as well as the carbon dioxide. Such of information related to the eligible reducing agent of different forms of a compound can be known from the Ellingham diagrams. The overall conclusion of Ellingham in the form of generalized equations, let us consider two metals on reaction with oxygen forms metal oxides at a particular temperature having their delta G is minus x and the minus y, spontaneous reactions. Whereas quantity wise x is greater than y, that is x is more spontaneous, nothing but first reaction is more spontaneous compared to the second one. Then in the metallurgical operations we want to reduce the metal oxide to metal which can reduce the other, that can be known from the Ellingham. This is having highest minus delta G. Overall to make a reaction to occur in a forward expected reaction, expected direction, it should associate with the highest minus delta G. And in this case what happens, as being x is very high, x should happen in the usual direction, that is x is what? Metal is converted to its corresponding metal oxide, whereas its particular formation can do the process, the reverse of the other one, that is metal oxide of the second one can be reduced to the corresponding metal because its conversion is having minus of minus y of delta G, and whereas the first one is our expected is having minus x, overall x quantity is greater, implies the total sum of this one is negative. Delta G of this particular reaction 1 plus reaction 2 is a negative, implies what? Combination of two reactions can occur in such a way that our expected product formation can occur because it maintains with the minus delta G, that becomes it is spontaneous in reaction. That is combination of reactions. Some of the reactions may be non-spontaneous, can be made spontaneous with the help of the other more minus delta G containing reactions. That is which particular one is having highest value at which temperature, which one will dominate. Such of all information graphically and theoretically with a logic of concept related to the spontaneity are given in the form of diagrams by Ellingham, are known as Ellingham diagrams. Extraction of the iron. Elemental iron is present in the meteorites, whereas iron occurs in the combined state and it is the second most abundant element in the earth crust. Iron generally appears in the form of ores as of hematite Fe2O3, magnetite Fe3O4, limonite Fe2O3 3H2O, and siderite, this is carbonate ore, and ferrous carbonate. And majorly the iron is extracted from the general ores like hematite to magnetite as well as limonite, whereas commercial iron available in the market are of cast iron, wrought iron as well as the steel, another variety of the iron. Extraction of iron includes the following steps. First one is concentration of the ore, second one is that is calcination as well as the roasting, and third one is smelting. Smelting includes the things like that is in the blast furnace we will extrude, that is combustion is present, reduction is present, slag formation is present, and the zone of fusion is present. At lower temperatures from 250 to 700 degrees centigrade, reduction is possible, and then after slag formation between 800 to 1000 degrees centigrade, and 1200 to 1500 degrees centigrade zone of fusion, that is fused iron formation takes place, and the higher temperature at the bottom of the blast furnace, combustion takes place, that is carbon monoxide formation occurs, that is 1500 to 1600 degrees centigrade. Let us go in detail related to the each step with the help of diagram for the formation of the iron ore, iron from the iron ore. In concentration, ore is crushed and washed with the water to remove the silicon related siliceous impurities. Then after it is concentrated by the magnetic separation methods, because iron is magnetically active, it is having magnetic nature, hence it is separated. Iron ore and the other impurities are majorly separated from the magnetic separation, and this is said to be the concentrated ore or dressed ore, and the process is known as beneficiation. Whereas in calcination and the roasting process, concentrated ore is heated in presence of excess amount of oxygen. As a result, the hydrated impurities or hydrated substances of the ores can be getting dehydrated and it will be converted to free ore, and the carbonate ore, if anything is present, that will be getting converted to oxide followed by the carbon dioxide. Any of the impurities, volatile impurities like organic matter will be evaporated, sulfur related impurities are converted to sulfur dioxide, arsenic impurities are converted to arsenic oxide, which are volatile and can be evaporated, and the lower oxides of the iron ore can be converted to higher oxides. As a whole process of this calcination and the roasting, the entire mass becomes porous and becomes very easy to perform the reduction, further process of reduction. Smelting process. The calcinated ore is mixed with the limestone as well as coke. Ore, limestone, coke in the ratio of 8:1:4, and this particular combination is said to be the charge. The charge is sent to the blast furnace from the top of the cone of the blast furnace to smelt it. Whereas blast furnace structure known to everybody, up to 25 to 100 meters height it is there, and these are the cone and cup model where charge is kept, and here the different temperature zones are there. From the top the temperature is goes on increasing, 250 degrees centigrade, 600, 1000, 1200, 1500, 1600 degrees centigrade, etc. And up to this 600 to 700 degrees centigrade from 250, that is said to be the reduction zone, and 1000 degrees near, and that particular 800 to 1000 is said to be the slag formation zone, and 1200 to 1500 is said to be the fusion zone, and 1500 to 1600 is said to be the combustion zone. Whereas in the smelting process, combustion zone, because we have to start where from the gases are going to be produced over there. Combustion zone 1500 to 1600 degrees centigrade, the carbon from the top as well as the compressed air of oxygen from the bottom combines with one another at this high temperature, and carbon combines with oxygen leads to the formation of carbon monoxide as well as carbon dioxide. But further, the formed carbon dioxide also readily combines with the upcoming carbon, and it is converted to carbon monoxide, because this process is also exothermic process. And next one is zone of reduction. At the top of the blast furnace, the reduction is going to be occurring, hence it is said to be the zone of reduction or the reduction zone. Almost have some 250 degrees centigrade to 700 degrees centigrade, in between this reduction is occurring. Ferric oxide is converted to Fe3O4, whereas Fe3O4 once again reduced to FeO. FeO at 700 degrees centigrade on reaction with carbon monoxide is converted to ferrous also. Some part of iron also formation occurs, and that iron is said to be the sponge iron. This liberated heat of the sponge iron formation is used for the decomposition of carbon monoxide to the carbon dioxide as well as the carbon. Yes, next one is slag formation zone. It is the central part of the blast furnace, whereas here the temperature maintained is almost some 1000 degrees centigrade, that is 800 to 1000 degrees centigrade. Due to this high temperature, whatever the added charge consisting of calcium carbonate is decomposed to calcium oxide and the carbon dioxide. This calcium oxide formed is acting as a flux for the adsorption of the silica related impurities, that is silicon dioxide reaction with the calcium oxide forms calcium silicate, silicate soup, phosphate soup, and also manganate soup present in impurities of the ore are reduced to corresponding silicon, phosphorus as well as the manganese respectively. Suppose phosphorus pentoxide is converted to phosphorus, silicon dioxide is converted to some portion of silicon dioxide to silica, manganese is converted to manganese dioxide to manganese, and these particularly formed compounds, some portion of these of all are getting adsorbed into the slag, and some other portion can be taken by the sponge iron formed in the above reduction zone, whereas the calcium phosphate, whichever is present as impurity followed by silicon dioxide on reaction with carbon, it can form calcium silicate, phosphorus followed by carbon monoxide. The phosphorus formed on reaction with the ferrous can form the Fe3F, Fe3P, that is ferrous phosphide formation takes place. Next is zone of fusion, which is having temperature range of 1200 to 1500 degrees centigrade, which is just above the zone of combustion. Whereas the sponge iron formed in the reduction zone up to 700 degrees centigrade, which is having impurities like carbon, silicon, phosphorus and the manganese etc. present in solid state. Now under 1300 degrees centigrade of this particular fusion zone, that solid sponge material is converted to molten in state, and it is collected at the bottom of the furnace and is covered by the slag material, and this particular zone is said to be the zone of fusion. Yes, the molten metal which is collected at the bottom of the blast furnace is transferred to the modules and it is allowed to cool. Whereas on solidification it forms iron, that iron which is molten metal iron present in the blast furnace is said to be the pig iron. Whereas this pig iron contains 93% of iron, 5% of carbon and remaining others like carbon, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, manganese etc. are present. This pig iron which is solid, once again on melting followed by pouring into the modules followed by cooling, produces another form of iron is said to be the cast iron, whereas on slow cooling it produces grey in color, hence it is said to be the grey cast iron, whereas in rapid cooling it produces white in color, hence it is said to be the white cast iron. This is pig iron. From pig iron once again remelting followed by solidification produces cast iron. Depending on the content of carbon, the commercial iron is of following types. The first one is cast iron. Cast iron is the most impure form of iron because it is consisting up to 5% of carbon, that is 2.5 to 5% of carbon. The highest percentage of carbon content is there, followed by some other impurities up to 2%. Those are silicon, phosphorus, sulfur and manganese. It is of two types. One is white cast iron, second one is grey cast iron, because in white cast iron the carbon is present in the form of Fe3C known as cementite, whereas in grey it is having of carbon in the form of graphite nature. Whereas the properties related to the cast iron are, cast iron is consisting of impurities and it melts at low temperature compared to the pure iron. Its melting point is 1250 degrees centigrade, whereas melting point of pure iron is 1350 degrees centigrade. It does not rust easily and it is neither tempered otherwise nor magnetized. It is hard, bitter and also having a high carbon content, and it expands and solidification. That's what it is used for preparation of many varieties of models. Having of little ductility, hence it is not used for the forging, whereas it is used for the railways, hot water supply, where the less strain is present. The electrical faults like systems are generally made by the cast iron. Wrought iron, the purest form of the iron with lowest percentage of carbon content is said to be the wrought iron. It is having 0.1 to 0.25 percentage of carbon and 0.3 percentage of other impurities, whereas it is manufactured from the cast iron by the puddling process, whereas it is executed in a reverberatory furnace having hearth lined with the hematite Fe3O4 lining is there. On that, in the presence of the high fuels, it is subjected for the melting, whereas on melting what happens is the hematite is acting as reducing agent, hematite is acting as oxidizing agent. It can oxidize the impurities present in the cast iron, like carbon is converted to carbon dioxide, silicon is converted to silica, manganese to manganese dioxide, phosphorus to phosphorus pentoxide, sulfur is converted to sulfur dioxide. Some of them are volatile and can be removed, and the remaining are can form slag within themselves or with the hematite. As a result, we will be getting MnSiO3, manganese silicate formation, ferrous phosphate formation in the form of slag occurs. Now this slag can be removed because after the removal of impurities, the most of the higher percentage of the carbon, higher percentage of the ferrous is present, its melting point increases. Thus it is going to be solidified, that is semi-solid like nature is occurring for the iron, whereas that was removed from the reverberatory furnace in the form of balls, and it is seized with the steam hammers in order to remove the slag formed inside of the this iron to make it as wrought iron. As a result, if impurities are removed, the slag is removed, then it is the purest form of the iron and it is maintaining highest melting points. Thus wrought iron is made. That is, with increasing of purity, its melting point goes on increasing and it appears in the form of semi-solid. In the form of semi-solid, it is taken out as balls and it is squeezed out with the help of hammers to get the wrought iron. This wrought iron is extremely tough and it is having high malleability, ductility. So therefore, having with high magnetic permeability is present and it is eligible for forging as well as the welding purpose also. With a little amount of slag present in it, it is fibrous in nature and it can sustain the stress. It resists the corrosion as well as the rusting. It is used in making of wires, bars, articles that can sustain the sudden stress like chains, nails, bolts, the manufacture of electromagnets as well as agri implements can also be made with the help of this wrought iron. Next variety of iron is steel. It contains the percentage of carbon in between the cast iron as well as the wrought iron. About the percentage of carbon is of 0.25 to 2%. On behalf of the percentage of carbon, its properties are dependent. With increasing of carbon percentage, its hardness increases, ductility decreases, whereas silicon gives the fibrous structure to the steel, manganese gives the elasticity property and the tensile strength, chromium gives the chemical inertness behavior for the steel. As these increases, these properties increases with the steel. Steel and its classification on behalf of percentage of carbon. If percentage of carbon is less, its properties are different and such kind of steel is said to be the mild steel. If percentage of carbon is more, it becomes very hard and it is said to be the hard steel. Whereas alloy steel mixed with the other metals and forms different properties containing steel is said to be the alloy steel. Nickel steel, nickel is 3.5%. Stainless steel for the cookery items, we will use chromium 18%, nickel 8%, chrome vanadium, chromium and the vanadium combination with 1% and the 0.15%. Manganese steel, manganese 12 to 15%. Tungsten steel, tungsten is that is 14 to 20 and chromium is 3 to 8%. Inverse steel, nickel is 36%, alnico aluminium 12%, nickel 20%, chrome steel, chromium 1.5 to 20%, cobalt is 5%. Such a combination with the iron are said to be the different varieties of alloy steels. Manufacture of the steel. Steel manufacture can be done by two varieties of the processes. One is by Bessemer process and second one is open hearth process. It is also known as Siemens Martins process. Whereas in both the process the technique is same. Here the cast iron, otherwise the pig iron, is taken as the material for the manufacturing of the steel. Whereas every of the process based on the impurity content, nature of the impurity content present in the pig or the cast iron, the hearth is covered with the bricks. Suppose if it is having acidic impurities, then the hearth is covered with the basic nature containing bricks. If it is having basic impurities, then it is covered with the acidic lining. Suppose if it is having manganese oxide as basic impurities, silicon dioxide, silica bricks are taken. If it is having acidic impurities like phosphorus pentoxide, sulfur dioxide, silicon dioxide, then the basic lining like calcium oxide and the magnesium oxide can be done. Generally what happens is, on sending oxygen gas, high temperature, these are all impurities whichever are present, like elemental state impurities, can be converted to the oxide situation. Silica, anything is there, that is converted to silicon dioxide. Manganese is converted to manganese oxide. Phosphorus is converted to phosphorus oxide. Some of the ferrous is also getting oxidized to ferrous oxide. Whereas counterly they can be reacted with the bricks of the covering hearth. Otherwise they can also interreact with one another if they are both are present. Thus manganese and silicon forms manganese silicate. Phosphorus combines with calcium oxide, calcium phosphate, slag formation takes place, and this slag is said to be the Thomas slag, which is used in fertilizers also. And some amount of ferrous is also undergoes oxidation to ferrous oxide, as we said. And the carbon present in the impurity form of this cast iron, otherwise the pig iron, that is undergoes oxidation by reducing the ferrous, hence it is converted to carbon monoxide. Whereas the carbon monoxide is a volatile gas, slags can be removed. Whereas this carbon monoxide is a volatile gas, it burns with the blue flame because it is having higher temperature. Once blue flame is off, the meaning is carbon content is completely removed. Now after removal of carbon content, we want to prepare steel. Steel is having some amount of carbon content. Now a special alloy, that is spicy Lazen, that is combination of ferrous, manganese and carbon is added. Ferrous is ferrous part itself, present in liquid state after dissolving. Whereas manganese and the carbon both are acting as oxidizing or reducing agents. They can convert, if any of the ferrous oxide is there, that ferrous oxide is reduced to ferrous, and once again carbon monoxide as a volatile gas, it will be removed. Now after adding up this particular proper amount of the alloy by name specifically, here the all varieties of ferrous oxides are reduced to the ferrous, and the carbon content, some of the carbon is oxidized and formed carbon monoxide, and it will be evaporated and it will be escaped in the form of vapor. Now we are having some amount of carbon and the manganese, which offers the strength towards the steel, and a proper percentage of manganese as well as carbon containing steel is prepared. Thus the things, those are happening after addition of the special alloy, specially gasoline, consisting of ferrous, manganese and the carbon is, the carbon and the manganese will mix the ferrous oxide whichever is present in the oxidized form to ferrous, followed by it is converted to carbon monoxide, a volatile gas. Now at last we left with the all varieties of impurities are removed. Now we are having ferrous, carbon followed by the manganese. This manganese percentages, as increasing of manganese percentages, the tensile strength as well as the hardness of the steel is increasing. Thus a desired properties associated required features containing steel possible is prepared with the desired percentages of the corresponding percentages of the carbon and the manganese. Thus steel is manufactured from the either from pig iron or from the cast iron.